And we're live. You're welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
We're joined by filmmaker, musician, and all-around cool person. We should have thought of a cool S name. Sophia Cacciola is with us.
Snaky, I don't know.
Scary Sophia. That's kind of
Scary spice. Yeah, I don't know.
It's nice to see you again too.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah. And now you've tied Michael for appearances.
Okay, good. I like to do better than him in most things. So.
I think most people do.
Yeah. It is a competition at all times.
Yeah. See, I mentioned musician. You do have a new video out, which is very cool.
Yeah, so it's a collaboration with Catherine Capozzi, who's an awesome composer that does most of our composing work in our films. But she has a project called Bring Us Your Women, so spotlighting different icons and women throughout history that, you know, their stories are kind of warped through time. And so I took on Medusa and kind of wrote the song from her perspective. And we released it yesterday for International Women's Day, and the music video is very trippy. So, yeah.
Yeah, the music video is great. The song's great. And I didn't know the backstory of Medusa until you wrote it.
It's horrible. Like, you know, she was really pretty and she was like raped, and then Athena got jealous and like made her like the Gorgon, and then Perseus like killed her and then used her head as like a weapon, like showing it to people to make them into stone. And then like it's all terrible, you know. Like she was just like a good person who's just like everybody like messed with. But that's not like, you know, you only hear
Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, you only hear the part where she's just like evil and makes people stone, but it's like for good reason. So
now I feel bad. I named one of my cats Athena back in the day.
I know. Well, it turns out Athena sucks, which I didn't know either, you know. I went down.
That's the moral of the show tonight. Athena sucks.
Yeah. Exactly.
By the way, AJ in the chat, he suggests sadistic Sophia.
That's pretty good, I guess.
He must know you very well.
AJ needs to call his parents. And by his parents, I mean me and Michael.
Not that AJ, it's a different AJ.
Oh, a different AJ. Oh, man. All right, never mind, AJ. AJ, you call your parents.
It's so awkward in that case.
I don't know the other AJ to adopt him. The AJ I thought.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. We'll vouch for him.
Yeah. Okay, good.
We were talking before we went live about King Ghidora.
Yes. He's such a maniac. So King Ghidora is our dog that we got during the pandemic. So he only knows this life, and it's a good life for him. He just yells at me all day and like, you know, takes me from room to room on his timeline. So, you know, if I ever have to go and do another film again, which maybe someday, he'll be upset, or we'll bring him with us.
That's what I was thinking on set.
Yeah, every contract will have like a King Ghidora handler.
Why King Ghidorah for the name?
Well, like the month we adopted him, we were watching only Godzilla, and we were trying to get through all the Godzillas, and I think we still have like 20 left. Like we did like all the 60s ones, and then we skipped to the 90s, and then we watched the new ones, and then we didn't go back to like the 70s. So like we still have like a bunch. But yeah, so he's so golden that we were like, oh, he's a space alien here to destroy Earth, which seems apt. So yeah. If we'd been watching Columbo at that point, because I also watched all of Columbo, we might have named Columbo.
It was a close call.
It was. Or Peter, I don't know, something. But if we adopt another dog,
Godzilla and Columbo.
Right? We keep looking at dogs though, because it's so sad how many dogs there are to adopt. And so if we get another one, we'll name it Mothra.
Or a bird. But no, I think that works for Mothra.
Yeah. Well, if it's a little girl Chihuahua.
Yeah. You have to do the song, the Mothra.
Yes. So
My
good.
voice can't get that high.
No, me neither. But we made a movie with King Ghidorah. That was like one of my pandemic projects, where he's Dracula in a different form. So you can check that out. That's pretty.
It won multiple severed limbs awards.
Yes, it did. It's one like scariest monster, right?
It did. Your favorite monster.
Oh, favorite. Okay, yeah.
You can tell King Ghidorah was the scariest. Could have left out with all the pets here.
Yeah.
Hello. So how was that fun to make Bloodhound?
It was. It's like they say never work with pets or animals or children. And I think that's probably true. But for this, I just filmed him doing mostly the stuff he does anyway. And there were only like a few things that we really needed him to look like he was eating. And so we have like these silicone blood pools that I figured wouldn't poison him. So just put some treats on that and got him to like kill Michael that way. So it's like there's like a little bit of like a lot of giving him treats and then just filming him doing his mini tasks that he does in his cape, which he doesn't seem to mind clothes so much. So
whenever I see him, my old dog Aldo looks exactly like him. He was a min pin.
Yeah, he's like 25% min pin. Yeah, according to the DNA. We had to like shill for a DNA test. We had to know.
Yeah, he came with clothes because he was owned by an old woman who knitted all his clothes.
Aww.
And then we got all his clothes.
Well, it's cold in the Northeast.
It is. He had a little snowsuit which was adorable. It had the zipper. But he hated booties because he also he did not like those.
They like to spread their scent through their paws. It's like we got him a space puffy jacket. So I've been meaning to like film at the rocks where Kirk fights the Gorn in Star Trek. That's only like 40 minutes. So I've been meaning to take him up there and film him like, coming down from space in his spacesuit to fight a Gorn, which I
think more awards are coming your way.
Yeah, that might be his next starring role.
Yeah. Trista, do you have a question?
I do, yeah. Sophia, do you have a favorite horror movie?
Oh man, it's hard. It's only hard because I watch so many. But I love Giallo films, and one of my favorite Giallo films is by Mario Bava, and it's called Lisa and the Devil, and it's Telly Savalas is kind of the evil guy in it, and he's like running around Rome carrying these mannequins that like turn into people, and there's like a big twist ending, and it's all just like about like her psychosis. I think it's Elkie Summer in that. Am I wrong in that? Anyway, female psychosis and death and mannequins, and it's a wild ride.
Telly Savalas and mannequins. I'm sold.
Yeah. Well, when I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie, they put when Leonardo DiCaprio was in Italy doing all his like Italian knockoffs, like one of the posters was like a Telly Savalas type poster, and I was like, he's totally just doing all the Telly Savalas movies in Rome. It's so good. So I mean, I would expect Quentin to like know about film. He's watched a few probably.
Yeah. Is that something you watched like later, like recently, or is that something you grew up liking?
Lisa and the Devil, in the last few years. Yeah, like growing up, I loved The Exorcist as a little kid, and I rewatched that recently, and it really struck me like how much it's the mother's story, and like the mother, like the horror in it now is like the mother trying to get good medical care for her daughter. And like that, like just went right over my head when I first watched it. And like, all like the horror and like all the images you think of that are scary are still scary and they're there. But to me, it was all about the mom. Now that I'm an old woman,
Well, I watched the documentary. It was really just an interview with
that documentary is so good. It's called Leap of Faith, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it because you posted about it.
Yeah. I mean, he's so funny. Just I'm blanking on his name now, which is
I am too.
Like
that's why I just said I watched the documentary.
Why is this happening? My brain is mush. But we saw him live talking about To Live and Die in LA, and it was amazing. And I could just listen to him talk. Like his brain is sharper than mine. Obviously, he probably knows his own name.
Case in point.
Case in point, yes. But yeah, it's just great. And like, I love parts in that documentary where it's like, there's no themes, which of course there's tons of themes. And then like 1 second later, he'll be like, every shot of the stairs is somebody ascending towards heaven. And like, that's the kind of stuff I love in films. I love visual thematic elements. And it's just funny to like listen and be like, it means nothing. And then 10 seconds later to be like, it's all about going towards heaven.
Yeah. It's weird because sometimes I don't like documentaries that are just like a talking head, but this one, you don't need anything else. You just him talking is amazing.
He's just so good. Yeah.
It led me to then listen to the audiobook of The Exorcist, which It's very topical here, but The Exorcist is also a great book.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I think he tried to be pretty faithful to it. Yeah.
It really is. It's pretty much, you know, you'd have to make a much longer movie, but besides that, it's basically just a book.
Yeah.
Bob Rose has us here. William.
Bob Rose.
But how did you guys meet Bob Rose?
Well, it's funny because I think, you know, we do a lot of film festivals, usually a lot of traveling. And I think I met him for like 5 minutes at Genre Blast. And then somehow, like in the very beginning of the pandemic, we ended up in the same chat group. So now we've just been making jokes to each other for 9 months. And so I feel like we're pretty close friends now.
Okay. That's how I met him, was through a chat through you and Michael.
Yeah.
I've not met him in real life, but I met him through chat.
Yeah. I know he
Zoom.
exists.
That's how you meet everyone now, is through Zoom.
That's it. Yeah. That's all there is.
You've not made anything together with Bob, because he made some wild shorts.
That is also a slightly secret pandemic project that we had. So there is a feature coming that, like, you know, I was tangentially involved. I'm sort of involved in. It was more Michael and Bob and a few other people. But yeah, so there is like a movie coming that we all worked on together during this period. Yeah.
No, very cool. And he also asked an interesting question, which ties into to Trista's T-shirt. Was if Possessor, which I actually have a copy right here, Possessor, was, I don't know how you worded it. I should look it up probably. If it was a breakfast cereal, or if they had breakfast cereal tie-in, what flavor would Possessor breakfast cereal be?
I think it should come with the mask, because that mask is like so creepy. I love Possessor. It was like my favorite movie I've seen in a long time. I think Peach is coming out to me because it reminds me of Brains.
Okay.
And there's so much brain prodding in that movie.
I was thinking yellow, so lemon, but that's kind of boring.
Yeah, peach, lemon, raspberry.
Peach. Now, I've never tied peaches into brains. But
it's just the color, that fleshy, gross color.
Interesting. By the way, the Treacherous Treat shirt you can get on withoutyourhead.com/tees.
Nice.
Yeah, like a cheap plug here for own stuff. Trista, another question?
Yeah, so what else have you been working on in quarantine that you can talk about?
I mean, existing. No, watching a lot of Columbo. No, so right before quarantine, Neal and I and the AJ that was aforementioned, and Michael and our friend Matt and Bill Whedon and Michael St. Michael's all filmed for this movie called The Once and Future Smash. And so that was probably like 50% of the movie. What we filmed that weekend, we filmed it at Mad Monster Party in North Carolina. So that was right like in February. Like we were joking about being shut down when we were leaving, and like it was just a dream. So we have a rough edit of what we did there that needs obviously the rest of the movie. So hopefully once everybody's vaccinated, we'll get back to a convention and to shooting the rest of that movie. And then there's like the movie inside the movie that we also shot, which is this shirt. So, and the shirt appears in the Once and Future Smash. So a little plug for that. So yeah, so we kind of have rough cuts of both of those movies now that we, they're waiting to be shaped and to be finished shooting. So that's good. And then like, it's just the year of the mockumentary. Like so the movie with Bob, I think I can say the title is The Transformations of Doctors Jenkins, which a bunch of people contributed pieces to. So it's like a filmmaker, a bunch of people did scenes for it. So that's pretty cool. And that'll be probably at Fest next year. And just trying to think, I've been doing a lot of music, which is fun. Because of Zoom, like everybody is like asking me to collaborate and, when they wouldn't have, if I'm like Boston and they're LA or whatever, or the opposite. So now it's like kind of opened up that world of like, oh, I'll just send you a track, sing on this. So I've been doing tons of music, which is great. Yeah, so like Medusa just came out, and hopefully more will come out soon of that. So yeah, just like a lot of we've been working on an anthology with another group, just trying to write an anthology that we all have a say in the overall macro events of the anthology, and we're all doing like individual pieces.
A lot of anthologies nowadays are like a lot of shorts that are made independent of everything else, and then they're put together.
Yeah,
and
we're trying to do
those
the
are cool,
opposite
but
of that.
there is something missing when they're all like, actually you could tell that there's some type of connection to them.
Yeah. So we're trying to share characters and share like an overarching storyline, and then all our individual stories fit in that. It's very hard to write with like a dozen people. So, and we're going to try to pitch that to get some money for it. So yeah, just like working on a lot of weird stuff, basically. 2022 is the year of the mockumentary. You heard it here.
Last year when you were filming the Once and Future Smash, what were the difficulties of filming over 3 days and during an actual convention?
Horrible. No, it was great. It was great that we had like unfettered access to the hotel and to the convention, and they just kind of, nobody really bothered us in that respect, and they gave us special access to events, which was great. But I hate being, all right, now I'm like major hate people and I'm agoraphobic. But even before then, I hated being in crowds, and all it is just crowds. And our table that we were shooting like a lot of dialogue scenes was like at the doorway of the convention hall. So people are coming in and out and stopping and like, or just like standing in front of the camera, like as I'm trying to film. So it's very stressful. Plus our actors are nearly 80. And I didn't want to work them too hard. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot for a 20-year-old. So, we were trying to like give lots of breaks. And so, yeah, it was just like definitely a whirlwind. I don't know that I'm up to that anymore. I'm glad I did it in the before times.
It seems so long ago, even though it really is like almost just a year ago, like I think last week or something, or a couple weeks ago.
No, it's a century ago. Basically.
Yes.
But yeah.
But you mentioned though about Mad Monster. Big thanks to them though for letting us do pretty much whatever we wanted there.
Yeah, it was great. Even the hotel, like probably because there were just hundreds of people there, were like spending lots of money to be there. We just like filmed everywhere around the hotel. And
I've been to conventions that don't. I mean, not even filming, but aren't cool with. I don't know why they even book or let them book the conventions there, because they seem to like they don't want you there. But that particular hotel is always really cool with everyone.
Yeah, we have some great shots of Michael St. Michael's drinking at the bar. Just like make me laugh, and nobody cared. It was great.
Yeah, karaoke. I don't want to spoil the movie.
It's karaoke. Yeah, we did it all. We did all the convention stuff.
Yeah, which I actually had on my phone, but I have a new phone, so I actually have to believe I lost the footage of. So I can't put out a bootleg version of the movie.
Did you film all the scenes on your phone?
No, just that one.
Oh, okay.
My bootleg would be 2 minutes. Would be just a 5-minute karaoke song.
It's the karaoke of the song that's not even going to be the actual song they're singing.
Right. Yeah, we get flagged for multiple things probably on YouTube.
Yeah, you can put it on TikTok.
Yeah, but I have to cut it down to like everyone was pressuring me to get TikTok because they thought I would be a TikTok star for some reason. They're like, "Oh, you're perfect for it." So
You do seem perfect for TikTok.
Well,
I don't even know really what TikTok is, but you seem because
you seem perfect.
You love to like share things.
That's true.
Yeah,
true.
people would love that.
Yeah, probably overshare things. To the degree of being very annoying.
But I think that's what TikTok is for.
It is.
Yeah.
I think you could make a killing.
So I did 2 videos, and then I was just like, I hate TikTok, and so I took it off my phone. But maybe now I should re-download it.
I've been trying to do it for King Ghidora to make him famous. Because he has an Instagram and he only has a couple hundred followers. And then I see these other dogs that do one cute thing on TikTok and then they have tons of followers. So I've been trying to do videos for him, and it's like so annoying. Like, first of all, my phone records in 4K.
Get it down to under a minute.
It's under a minute, and my phone is recording in 4K. I should just drop it down, but it only lets you upload 1080. And so it's like a whole process to like make them 1080. It's very annoying.
You're just too high tech.
I guess. I mean, I don't know why I record these videos in 4K. It's just like what my phone is set to.
This cute dog video needs to be 4K,
I mean, I think
3D,
so.
and yeah,
We shot Bloodhound in 6K, so
it paid off.
every strand of furs, you can zoom right in on it.
Yeah,
He looks great.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
Yeah, but I'll give TikTok another go, I guess. And I will follow King Ghidorah on TikTok.
There you go. There's a plug.
I had this in my notes. I actually do take notes for the show. People think I'm not prepared, but Michael brings up milk soda in the chat.
Not Michael J. Epstein, the other Michael.
That would be pretty.
Oh, yeah. Now he wants me to talk about other stuff I did this year. This is like I'm coming back from summer vacation and I have to talk about what I did over the summer. Speaking of Bob Rose, he had a thing called soda milk where they.
Oh, that's where you got it from.
Oh yeah, he and his friend would just mix different sodas and different milks together and then taste it and kind of give a review, I guess. But there's like hundreds of episodes of this show, Soda Milk. And so we discovered this in like April and watched like a whole bunch and we thought it was really funny. And so then we decided to just do a fan version called Milk Soda. And of course I'm vegan, so I had to do like soy milk and Coke. It actually tasted pretty good, but I just kind of tried to do it as dryly as possible.
In a way.
Yeah, it was like a float. So me and King Ghidorah, we did that. And then our intention was to just drop it on YouTube and never say anything to Bob until like whenever Google alerts would just tell him there was like a milk soda and like just let him discover it on his own. But then I got too impatient. I needed the feedback, you know. Exactly. So we did share it with him. But it was pretty funny.
Was he happy that he has a fan version of?
I mean, he sent me a cease and desist, so I can't make any more milk sodas. I don't know how he feels.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
How about the Big Steep, which people will be able to see shortly in Severed Limb 5?
When is that? That's the
April
Easter
13th or the 10th. One of those two.
The Big Steep was a movie we made because some filmmaker friends of ours from England were over, and we were just like drunk at the bar and we're like, this will be funny, and so we filmed it. But you know, it's just a British man trying to find a good cup of tea in LA, and it's impossible. It's very noir, very jazzy noir quest through Hollywood for a cup of tea, and he meets a tea genie, and it's, you know, things go awry. But we filmed that like a long time ago because it sat for a while, and then finally we're like, we should finish this. Yeah. it was just like a joke that went too far. Yeah.
I'm not from England, but I agree with them.
Now you're a tea snob.
Yeah, Lipton tea is the worst. Tastes like green beans.
I can't have black tea. Like those tannins, they knock me out.
I have tea tonight instead of coffee. I'm trying to drink more tea.
Do you play the genie?
No. He plays the genie and himself. David. Let me find his last name because I'm blanking on everything today. I'm the worst.
I thought this was the movie Sinbad played the genie.
Yes, it's Sinbad. Michael is in it as like a guy that has a tea kettle. He's like a mirage. David Whitney.
I was to look up on IMDb, and it's this Mike, the guy who has the tea kettle.
In the Mirage. Yeah, David Whitney's a comedian. He's a really funny British man who does a lot of film stuff. So yeah, he was over for a film festival in LA and then got hooked up with us, and it all went wrong.
So I know you're someone who, like myself, goes to a lot of film festivals. So what's this last year been like, virtual festivals?
It's been very weird, you know, because we had a bunch of shorts that, you know, were finishing up their runs or just starting their runs. So like we were in a lot of film festivals that ended up going online, which is neat. And some of them managed to like cultivate some community better than others. But I think it's just hard because like for us, like going to the film festival is all about like being in the room, experiencing the movie together, and then like meeting up at the bar or wherever to talk about it and make friends. So it's like that element is kind of missing. And then it's like, you know, just me on my couch. Like I could watch Columbo or I could watch the Shorts block. And, you know, sometimes I'm in the mood for one or the other. And it's definitely hard. So yeah, it was a weird year, you know, and, you know, part of why I wasn't in a rush necessarily to like finish up these features was like, I'd rather hold them until we can all go and travel with them again. So, so it's not so bad that we're not done with the Once and Future Smash, in my opinion, because
I agree with you.
The process of bringing it around is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me as well. Well, any favorite films of this last year that you saw that you weren't involved in that you saw through the festivals?
Oh man, so many. I'm like, my brain is mush. It's mush. Dinner in America. Did you catch that one? I caught that at Nightstream. It's like a cute like punk rock like rom-com, but also like just weird genre movie on top of that. It was really cute. Anything for Jackson was really good.
Yeah, I loved it.
There was like this weird nudist colony movie that I thought I would hate, but I ended up really liking, called Patrick. It's the guy who was like the crappy boyfriend in the movie Revenge. I think it's like a Belgian movie, Patrick. But it's just like about him dealing with his grief over his father dying and losing his hammer at this nudist colony that he runs. And it's a very strange movie. So yeah, there are a lot of weird foreign.
That old story again. The guy
movies.
losing the hammer at the nudist colony.
I know. Der Schlaf was like a German movie I caught at maybe Fantasia. But it was also like, it's like weird dreams in a motel, very creepy movie. Kind of dealing with the fact that like a lot of Germans or have Nazis in their past. So that one was kind of a scary one. But yeah, you know, movies still made it around.
Yeah. Trista, another question?
So obviously things are different now in the world, but COVID notwithstanding, did you perform live music in LA regularly? Because I'm a big fan of your music and your voice is so haunting, and I've never seen you live.
Yeah, that's funny because that was like one of my goals in 2021 was like, I was like, I'm gonna get a band together in LA because you know, I performed a lot in Boston and I toured a bit. But then when we moved to LA, it was just like film. It was just like all we were doing. And then like this year I was like, no, I'm gonna get a band together. And I had some friends being like, I'll be in your band. And then I just like, I was working on so many films in like February and March. I was pushing it off and off to like the summer. And then of course it's not happening now. But hopefully someday down the line, if there's still music clubs, I would like to perform again.
I've never seen you live either, actually.
What?
I've seen you live, but not perform music live.
See me in the flesh. Yeah, well, you met us kind of on the tail end of our Boston journey, I would say. Yeah, so we've been in LA like almost 5 years now, I guess, which is also insane because that feels like yesterday.
Did you miss the snow?
No.
The older I get, I don't either. Yeah.
Everybody's just really come retired out to Palm Springs.
I've got my heater down here. The cold used to not bother me, but now I can't stand it.
Yeah, I definitely miss like the Boston music scene because like even though nobody cares like in the outside world about what's going on in Boston, it's like the music there is so good and the clubs were so good, and like a lot of them have closed like even before
I was in
COVID. That was like part of like why I wasn't even like in like 2016 we were leaving. My favorite club to play at closed. It's called TT the Bears, and I was like, well, fuck it, that's like the end. And then I miss it. I do miss it though.
Yeah, I was actually there once. TT the Bears,
such a good club. Legendary.
Let's see here. Manny Serrano wants to know if ghosts go through walls and doors, why don't they fall through floors and stairs?
I think they could float through a stair to like get downstairs.
So they have control over it. It's not like they
hover
push through the wall. They can do it if they want to.
Yeah, I don't understand that question.
Do you know which Manny this is?
Yeah, Manny Serrano.
Do you know him personally?
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook.
I was wondering if this was like an inside joke, but it's a
Right,
general.
right.
I'm not missing anything.
He's been,
No,
Okay.
I don't
he's
think
been
so.
wondering this for years, and he thought
wants to know.
it was the one that
I am not a ghost expert. I used to really believe in ghosts though as a kid because I grew up in this I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Western New York, and I grew up in this house that was like from the 1700s, and like every sound you would hear like throughout the house. So it was very creepy, and I was always scared. And like a couple times I saw stuff or talked to things that I thought were ghosts. Michael has convinced me I have a weird brain, but I had these experiences as a kid where I was like, I had been talking to ghosts. And so I really like that, like was like the horror films that would scare me the most, like growing up. And now I think that's the hardest film to make is a scary ghost film because it's so outrageous to pull off.
I saw a good one, Echoes of Fear, a few years ago.
It's true.
Oh, I'll have to catch
Saw
that.
one.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Thank
Yeah.
Jumped several times to Echoes of Fear.
I did too. I'm not just saying this honestly because I'm also not a big haunted house movie fan, but I really did like Echoes of Fear.
Yeah.
You know, I jumped to Echoes, and I was there. Oh, yeah.
There's definitely some good jump scare moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes on too.
Jump scare, yeah.
I do like this idea for a short film though. It could just be really short where the ghost just falls.
Falls through the stairs.
Yeah. That's just the
Hey.
end of the movie.
Manny gets a story by.
He just comes in like boo, and then he just falls. Wouldn't they just fall through the earth at some point?
I mean,
I'm probably overthinking this question. But why would they stop at the ground? Is what I'm saying. You know, they.
I do love like the 70s, like the movies like Amityville, where like a film crew shows up with all like the 70s film equipment because it's like an audio machine like this big and like real film. And I just love watching the process of them setting all that stuff up. But it's only because I'm a film nerd. I don't think the movies are that great, but there's so many of them.
I think they still do that more. So a lot of the modern ones, they still have like really old looking equipment.
Do they?
I think so.
I don't watch a lot of like modern paranormal movies, but I assume it's all like Ring cameras and cell phones.
Jim McDonough wants to know, what is it like having a weird exotic pet that is likely moody, spoiled, and at times neurotic, and a cute dog?
I read that and I was thinking of both Michael and the dog because they are both all of those things. No, my whole day is just like finding snacks for all the pets. For Michael and the dog. It's like my whole day.
Which one's a pickier eater?
They're both pretty picky. Yeah. King Ghidorah only because he has so few teeth, he has to have like soft food, and he wants it to be the meatiest soft food I can find. So he'll spit out. There's like some of his food has like carrots in it, and he just spits the carrots on the rug. So Michael's the opposite. He needs the carrots.
Yeah, he'll spit out the mushrooms.
Yeah.
I recognize that hallway behind you.
Yeah, you stayed here. You stayed in that door that the handle is
in the door. Yeah.
In that closet.
You stood in the doorway the whole time.
Yes.
And then I fell through the
when
floor.
Trista invited you over to stay at our house.
Right.
Oh yes, I doomed them.
See, now that she knows me better, it's doomed. Before it was manifested and it sounded all nice, and now that she knows me a little bit, yeah, she regrets that. But by the way, Jim McDonough in the chat, with that question, for people who don't know, did Darling Pet Monkey that you guys also had part in, and that's done really well.
It's done fantastic. It's so good. I don't like to take much credit for it because it's all Jim, but it was part of like a larger project that Michael and I had kind of started and then got sidetracked. As far as making a movie about the stuff they used to sell in comic books. And one of the things you could buy out of the back of a comic book was an actual squirrel monkey. And so we had found this guy, Tim Tate, he lives outside DC, who as a kid had ordered the squirrel monkey and had this great story about like how that all went terribly, like ordering a live monkey in the mail in the 60s. So we just gave Jim that audio and he went to town with it, and it's so funny and so endearing and cute. It's done really well, as it should, because it's amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, I love it too. My grandfather actually had a spider monkey.
Did he
I don't know if I
order
ever
it from the animal farm in
No,
Florida?
when he was stationed in, I'm not sure where, but overseas somewhere, but he
Did he
wasn't allowed
bring
to
it
bring
back? Okay.
Well, I heard the story many times as a kid because he's very sad they wouldn't let him bring it back because of customs.
Yeah, he should have stuck it in a shirt. See if he survived the flight all
Yeah.
scratched up.
I wanna say-
Yeah, I don't know how this Florida, it was literally called Animal Farm in Florida. And I don't know how they sourced their monkeys that they just mailed to kids. It's all part of the
That's really good.
documentary. We have to find out how they got the monkeys.
Yeah. I think some other cool guys involved in that too,
Yeah.
in that documentary.
in sourcing illegal monkeys through customs. Yeah.
Can you give us the dirt on Michael besides being a picky eater?
I don't know. He's fine.
I want to just start asking that to every guest. Can you just give us the dirt? Just leave it at that, I think. Give us the dirt. Trista, actually, how did you meet Michael and Sophia? Meet Sophia here.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you've asked me that before and I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember?
I probably did ask you.
Okay, I think
Both of you, yeah, because I think you had conflicting stories.
Yeah, no, I think I met you at a rooftop bar in LA. I think this was the first time we met for like Heather Buckley had like a
Oh, was that
hangout?
the first time we met?
I'm not
For
sure.
some reason, I thought I knew you before then, but you could be right. It's possible. Yeah,
That was an early time. Maybe not the first.
that was a fun night.
Yeah. And then definitely around Echoes of Fear, because that's when I met Brian and Lo, was around that time. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, it's LA. We bump into each other.
Yeah, I feel like I may have known you from Dark Dells. I feel like I know everyone from Dark Dells. To be
Michael
honest.
says it was Ricky's party.
Oh, you know what? Michael has,
Oh,
here's the dirt on Michael is that his memory is much better than mine. And he remembers my stuff better than I do. I think it was Ricky who did
his birthday party.
Trash Fire and
Yeah.
Suburban Gothic. Really great filmmaker. He had a birthday party. I think that is actually where we met and we talked about mice. I think because you had done Echoes of Fear, we were talking about mice at that birthday party.
I don't know. I'll take your word for it. But it was fun. The party after the Ranger was fun too.
Oh yeah, that's what that party was for. It was for the Ranger. You know what, LA, like the horror community in LA is literally like 300 people. And if you go to events, you just see everybody all the time. So it's definitely, you know, you bump into each other a lot. It's much smaller than you would expect, is all I'm saying.
Did you know anyone out there when you moved out there?
I don't, Michael, J. Epstein. I mean, maybe. I think we knew some people. Not a ton. Yeah, I think we knew some people we'd met at festivals and stuff that we hit up a little bit. But mostly we just showed up. Like a lot of it, you know, because we'd gotten so into film in Boston. So we did 3 features in Boston. And basically, like I felt like I could keep making like these $20,000 features in Boston for infinity. Like I could do one every year or two, and that was cool. Or I could go somewhere else and try to do that. And I had been out to LA because I work on this project called the Women of Rock Oral History Project, where we go around and we interview women who do rock and roll, and especially women who are like the bass player in the band. Like, what's her story besides just like, you know, the Courtney Loves, which we've been trying to get her to, but besides just like the lead singer that everybody has the attention on, we wanted to hear from like the side players and all that. So it's a really cool project. There's tons of interviews on the website, womenofrock.org. But I had come out here to do a couple of interviews for that. And I came home and I was like, Michael, we should move to LA because we're vegan. And I stayed with the guy who was vegetarian and he took me to like a ton of restaurants and it was so warm and beautiful. And I was like, you know, it's so cool out there. Let's go. And to my surprise, Michael was like, all right, let's do it next year. So then we spent like a year getting our affairs in order, and we're just like, we just took the leap. And I think like the weather and the culture and everything is like what keeps us here for sure.
I will say it would be easy to be for me to be vegan out there because every place we ate was really good food.
Yeah, it's definitely easy. And like right now too, it's like all these new restaurants are popping up. I don't know if like real estate's cheap, but it's like on my Instagram is like all like new vegan restaurants I haven't been to yet. So it's a lot of places to go when you come back, Neal.
Yes.
I've been getting vegan delivery too now. They
Yeah.
have these great delivery meals. It's really
Oh yeah, the box.
Or even if people for whatever reason don't want to be, it's easy to eat healthy out there.
You know,
Like,
it's
where
like
I live, I if I get takeout, like there's really no place I can get that's like good for me. It's always going to be a cheat meal for me.
right. Yeah. It's it's definitely part of the culture here. It's like healthy. But there's like, like there's a lot of trash food vegan. So which like I love.
But you could still eat good. Like honestly, if I got
You
some,
still get a good salad.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be fried or pizza or something. If I want to get, it's gonna be just like the most basic salad you've ever seen. If I got something
salad,
like
lettuce.
Yeah.
No, so that all that stuff is easy out here. And just like, in Boston is like I couldn't book anything from like November to March because the weather was always gonna be so bad. So it's just like those months was just always stay inside and do nothing or do other things that weren't playing shows or like expecting anybody to show up somewhere in a snowstorm. And here we just don't have those seasons, like that much of a season where you can't shoot or you can't do stuff. So that was actually really cool until the pandemic too. Could always be working.
Right. Can you tell us about Murderous Space Fatherfuckers?
Yeah, that's so Sick and Wrong Film Festival, which is one of the fun online. It was online this year. It's usually in Florida.
Right.
Film festivals. They actually had a really great program because it's all weirdo films more than like horror comedy or something. It's just like weird shit. So they're one of my favorite fests, but they did like a film challenge for fun, like a quarantine film challenge where you had a weekend to do a movie. Did they give us? They gave us like a mood and maybe a theme or something, but we just like made this crazy animated thing about aliens coming to Earth and abducting the leader, which of course is King Ghidorah, and then he just like poops all over their spaceship and they send him back. But we made it in a weekend for this film debacle, the Sick and Wrong film debacle. So it was just a fun little thing, and I think you played it, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it won, but it got it was nominated. It was up for awards.
Okay, wow. King Ghidorah is a star. So
exactly. And I wanted to say the name Murderous Space Fatherfuckers.
Yeah, there's a song where I got to sing that. It's pretty fun.
You should put that out as a single.
Right? It's only like 10 seconds.
Just loop it.
Yeah, just loop it for 2 minutes and it's a song.
That's perfect for TikTok.
There you go. It's true. That is true.
The audience for TikTok. I remember, I don't want to make fun of me, but it was a few years ago. I did a short film, and which never been released. But I was the oldest person on set, and one of the younger, like 20 something, and he also did podcast, and he kept saying that all his podcasts he made 90 seconds or less for Instagram. And then I told him that some of my interviews were 4 hours, and both of us couldn't understand either person.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand, because I went and looked, and the podcast, it wasn't even complete sentences. It was like just sound bites. It was an interview, but it was sound, and it wasn't like this is a highlight. Go listen to the whole thing. That was the whole podcast. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
But it had lots of hits, so what do I know?
You just gotta cut it up 1 minute at a time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna edit this one down to
Per minute, yeah.
48 seconds. It'll just be Murderous Space Fatherfuckers and King Ghidorah, and a ghost falling through the floor.
Perfect.
Trista, do you have a question?
Do you have
Stay away
any
from my nonsense.
do you have any advice for aspiring creatives?
This comes up a lot. Like we're very DIY, and I think that's how you have to be now. And the people that I see having success, especially on the indie level, like do everything themselves. And just because of cost and depending on other people and stuff, I think that's the way it's got to be. So if you want to make films, like get a camera and start off with a crappy one if you have to, and you can download DaVinci Resolve for free and make your movies, and learn how to edit and learn how to light and learn how to shoot and do all those things. And then when you actually have a crew of people, you know exactly what to tell them that you want, and it places you in a better position on set as a director as well, if you actually know what each job entails, and you know, like if there's a problem with what's happening. You know, like if the lab placement is totally stupid, like you can be like, well, why are you doing this? You know, as an example. But I think that's the biggest thing these days, is you just have to know how to do every single piece of the puzzle. And that's kind of how we approached music. Like I never really had a lesson in anything. It's just like, I want to sing songs, I'm going to play guitar, I'm going to play drums, I'm going to sing, I'm going to do all this stuff. And then when we transitioned to music videos, it was like the first couple we did with directors, and they came out really nice. And then we're like, let's do this. We can just buy a crappy camera, and we did. And then the first bunch were fine, not great, but fine. And then they gradually got better. And same thing with our movies. Like we're finally getting to a point where the movies mostly look like what I want them to look like. I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always reaching for what I know is possible. But I mean, I think that's good. I don't think there'll ever be a movie that I think is like, this was my perfect vision. But yeah, that's all. Just you get better each time with each project.
How did you go about learning the different aspects of filmmaking?
It's exactly that. It was just doing it. And, you know, and I started just getting jobs on every set I could. And in Boston, that's not like a lot of sets, but you know, I was on a couple features as an assistant camera in Boston, and like got to ask questions and got to do all that. You know, I would help out as a PA on my friend's sets, and then just doing our own stuff. Like, so our own stuff was like, I ended up doing like almost all the wardrobe and all the art department and all the location searching. It's like all that pre-production. Even now I still do all of it. For better or worse. I would love to have help, but I can't afford it. So it's usually just me. So yeah, it's just all those little pieces. And it's like, you know, after a while, you know what things need to be done. It's just doing it. And then observing on other people's sets. Like out in LA, I work as an assistant camera operator usually. Where I get to see like how the bigger people with a little bit more money, how do they do it, and how many people are needed to do these jobs that I usually do myself. So that was kind of eye-opening too. When I came out here, I was like, oh, okay, like they've got a whole truck for just C-stands. Like, cool. You know, which you know in your brain, but then to see it, you're like, oh, okay, you got one guy that's allowed to touch these C-stands. Yeah, so it's just like getting out there and seeing as many sets as you can and doing your own stuff. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie and say there's like a secret. There's not. It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. Now, you designed these, I believe.
I did. Going back to the art department. I love art department, but I call these my Photoshop disasters whenever I have to do something in Photoshop, because again, it's another thing I taught myself how to do. So it's always like all wacky. But Toot Strudels were in Clickbait. So Clickbait was our first feature that we made out in LA. And, you know, it's about social influencers having a Michael Myers-esque stalker. And those were just supposed to be a breakfast item in the movie, you know? So I was like, all right, you know, like, let's just make it rather than have like it be normal Rice Krispies or something. I was like, I'll make like a ridiculous toaster pastry. And then it just spiraled out of control, because literally it was just supposed to be in one scene, just like not even really mentioned or like concentrated on at all. And it just, everybody went crazy with the Toot Strudels, like the cast, the crew. They were filming their own like TikToks of them. I don't think TikTok existed yet, but basically.
Right. You invented TikTok.
I invented TikTok for Toot Strudels. So, but yeah, so when we got into Boston Underground Film Festival, which is like our favorite home film festival, they were like, you have to bring Toot Strudels. They said we had to do it. And so we ended up just printing out stickers and putting them on generic toaster pastries that we got at the dollar store. So apologies to anybody that actually ate those. I'm glad you just still have them on your shelf. But now they're very
I was going to
expensive.
eat it live on the show, but you warned me beforehand not to do it.
Well, they're like 4 years old now, so that's kind of
Yeah.
getting. I mean, maybe they last
age
forever.
like fine wine. I've heard.
Yeah, maybe it's like, you know, you can bring that down to the bunker and eat that in 20 years. It's probably going to be fine.
Yeah, I was going to sell it on eBay.
I think most people ate them in the theater.
Probably. I kept 2 because I was going to send one to, or maybe I did send it. I think I sent the eggplant one to Jason.
Nice.
Bob Rose, I think you were only supposed to take 1, so I do admit I took 2. Sorry. Bob Rose, praise.
Cost me 50 cents.
I will pay, or Venmo, or whatever people use now. Bob Rose praised the Sophia's cinematography. Shiny diamonds looked gorgeous, as does everything she shoots.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's my, I love cinematography. And that goes back to like high school and stuff. I used to film like all the plays and sports games. And so like, it was like a thing I was into already. And then once we started doing music videos, I was like, yes, let's do this. And then it's just been a slow process of like learning everything there is to know, but I love all the little technical things. So it's like just my brain loves it, just like how everything fits together. So yeah, so I've been doing more and more cinematography, and like we've shot all our recent movies with friends and ourselves. So it's cool.
Where can people find your music?
Probably my website is the best place to find most of this stuff. There's like trailers to all the recent shorts that aren't out yet, and in the music, it's just my name, sophiacacciola.com, and launchover.com is our production company. But my main band, if you want to go on Spotify, my main band for a long time was called Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling. And I don't know if I'm going to keep that name going forward when I'm doing new music, but maybe.
It's very long, but I like it.
Very long. It was around the time of like really long band names, like, okay. And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead. I was like, people can say that. They can say Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling. But it was long.
Yeah. That was before like Twitter though, because I don't think they let you put it like a really long Twitter handle.
Yeah, we were like DNF MOMD on Twitter for a while. Just the initials, which is like, again, I was like, you know, if you think people can remember KMFDM, they can remember DNF MOMD. And I'm not sure. But you know what I found out from Jeopardy, because I'm an old person that watches Jeopardy every night, thanks pandemic. Lemurs, suppose I've got to research this because it was just a Jeopardy question, but lemurs were like, the word lemur comes from restless ghosts, because somebody thought that's what lemurs looked like.
Really?
Restless Ghosts. Yeah, so this is coming all the way back around. But I was like, that is a great band name, Restless Ghosts.
It is.
I like it.
Lemur and the Restless Ghosts.
Now get rid of the lemur part. Unless you want to be lemur.
The lemur doesn't sound like Restless Ghosts.
No, it doesn't. I don't know what language this. I have to research it. I'm just believing Jeopardy.
Yeah, you never question Jeopardy if it's on there. You just assume it's true.
You assume they have a good.
Yeah, you don't yell at fake news. do you have a favorite new host of Jeopardy? The guest host?
I mean, I think it's just got to be Ken Jennings. Come on. But you know, he's off now. Maybe he'll come back. We'll see.
All right. Trista, you have another question? Trista, did you have a question?
Yeah, you.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose Trista? You're frozen.
Oh wait, are we having connection problems?
You're back.
Oh, we hear you now. I think she's still frozen though. Oh, I think we can see her moving.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I happening?
Yeah, you're moving around. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm doing it. Okay. So Sophia, you mentioned launch over, but can you talk? Am I still working?
Yeah, you're good. Yep.
Oh, good. You guys keep freezing because you're listening.
Right. We're listening intently.
So can you talk more about launch over and what kind of projects you guys focus on?
Yeah. So Launch Over is just my production company with Michael J. Epstein, who is my partner. I don't know what else to say about him. He's fine. No, I met Michael when I moved to Boston. I started going to this folk rock club that had an open mic, and I was like, this is going to be it. I'm going to be a folk rock person. And through this open mic, I don't know. I was 17. I didn't know what I was doing. But that's where I met Michael, and we just immediately became friends and started collaborating on stuff. So, you know, that's Launchover is like where our house for us collaborating on projects. So, which is named after, I don't know if we officially said this in a thing, but there used to be these YouTube videos of the G.I. Joes where some guy like redubbed over them. This is like early YouTube stuff, the G.I. Joe PSAs. And it was like some kids on skateboards, and there's like an electrical line, and they're like, we're going to launch over that. And so we just thought that was funny, and it became our production company forever, because now we can't get rid of it because it's our LLC too. Anyway, I just had to point out that it was a dumb meme from 25 years ago that we're named after. So, you know, it's mostly our projects, but we also end up producing like people's shorts sometimes. And if we end up producing it, usually I'm shooting it and Michael's taking an active production role in it. But yeah, it's like we don't do drama because we don't really understand or like dramas. We do we do a lot of horror comedy somehow. It's just like I wouldn't ever say that I do horror comedy, but a lot of our stuff ends up being very comedic. I think just because we're pranksters and we like to joke around a lot, and then it just kind of bleeds into our work. And then some, I wish it was more sci-fi. There's some sci-fi that we end up doing. But yeah, so, you know, a lot of genre stuff. I like to have a lot of women in our projects. So yeah, just kind of social, political. We try to get in some jabs here and there in the work. But yeah, that's basically just where it's our umbrella for our features.
And that's launchover.com.
Yeah. That was a very
also
long
a podcast. It's which
oh my God, the boss.
I don't know, is it on hiatus? Is it coming back? Did you enjoy the process of making a podcast?
I did. You know what? Like, we've just been busy. No, I like the podcast. So the podcast was intended to be like, what are we working on? And we talk to our friends that are working on stuff with us. And then we talk about what movies we watched. And we did a bunch. And then just like since January, we've been so busy with work that we haven't done one since. But we intend to come back to it. We never got to do like a roundup of our favorite movies or anything because we're just so lazy. But yeah, no, we intend to come back to the podcast at some point.
All right. Good.
Maybe soon.
All right. I won't fine you or anything.
But I was saying about because it's on the Without Your Head network.
Yes. I'm very happy to have you there. I think it was the first show we added when we started it. Yeah. Jeremy Long says, "Praise be Sophia Cacciola."
Jeremy Long is an awesome comedian and writer who wrote the original script to Clickbait. So yeah, go watch Clickbait. Yeah.
And Launchover actually posted the interview with me. Unlike many interviews I do never see the light of day for some reason, but that one you can actually listen to.
Yeah, you came on our podcast.
Yeah. I love spending an hour and a half of my time, and then no one puts it up
into the void. So that's why you got to do it like this, where it's just immediately posted. Right. I have no choice. I can't be like
my time. I love it. Trista, did you have another question?
I think you're a very underrated actor. I'm wondering if you audition or work on other people's projects, or if you mostly just act in your stuff, because you're great.
Thank you. I think you're like one of the greatest actors I've worked with so far. So that's very nice to hear that coming from you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I like acting. I think it's fun, but I end up doing it in our projects usually out of necessity, or like we just don't want to bother with other people, but we want to make a dumb short. So like, I'll be in it, or Michael will be in it. But yeah, I actually like this year in this pandemic, I've done some self-taping for people's projects. Like mostly like mockumentaries and stuff. Like people have been asking me to do like little things for, so it's fun. I always love acting. I have gone on a few auditions, which in LA is like a harrowing experience. Like to walk into the room with like your headshot and be like, I'm here. I don't know. I think also because like I'm not that young and I'm not that thin. It's always like this like once they see me, they're like, oh, okay, you're not like what we thought. So I'm hoping my time will come. My dream roles is going to be like the creepy grandma.
This is not like how I see you at all. Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks
No.
that.
I want to be the sassy grandma in like the wheelchair that's like, you children.
I do think you make a great owl, though. I want you to reprise this owl.
You've seen the owl scene?
Yes, I love it so much.
Yeah, that was intense. Yeah. I have no excuses for that owl other than, again, comedy somehow.
No, I'm being sincere. I really love it. I do, like, I find myself drawn to your characters. You have such a wide range, and I always believe it. And you're very good at deriving empathy. And it's not just because I know you, because I have lots of people that work in film that I know, but I'm always drawn to your performance. It's always very natural and very understated and hilarious and sensitive. You're just a great actor, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
My favorite acting tip I ever read, which like is just a funny thing, because like I think in like a lot of like low budget things, people like want to nod and smile a lot. And like I think like I felt myself doing that when I was first trying to act. But like the greatest thing was like Robert De Niro being like, if somebody says something sad to you in a movie, like don't move your face at all. And he's like, the audience will just plug it in for you. Just don't make any movement. And I was like, like if the camera angle's right and everything, like that can be a moment. But yeah.
I agree that like there's something to be said for always doing less. I think that's something I work on, always doing less and less. And what helps that is working with really good people, because sometimes if you're working opposite people, when someone's coming at you with too much, it's really hard to like save a scene by doing less and less and less.
Yeah.
But
you end up wanting to do what they're doing, kind of, or bring it up to like their,
or
their
like
level of energy.
like trying to save something or contribute, but when you're with like real professionals and technical professionals, I think there's something to be said for just existing and reacting, right? Obviously. Yeah. But you're a very great actor. You're a very natural actor, and I always, in your work, yours and Michael's projects, I'm always looking for you. I'm always excited to see you. I always want more of your characters.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah. I'll try.
Yeah, talk to Michael. I'll
like my character in Clickbait, I don't know if you saw Clickbait, but like in Clickbait, I'm like the creepy neighbor who probably like murdered her husband and put him in.
No, I thought you were funny.
That's like what I imagine my personality. It's like swilling bourbon and murdering people. But I think like going back to acting too, because I do so much camera. My tip for actors is to understand camera angles and understand when is a wide and when is their close-up, because like what you can be doing in a wide or a close-up is way different. Because like in a close-up, you can't be moving. You can't be going in and out or doing all this stuff because you're gone. You're just off screen. And that drives me crazy as a focus puller, and it drives me crazy as a cam op when people just move too much. So yeah, that's my pet peeve with actors. You're doing too much. Do less.
And it helps you to conserve your emotions too. Like I always want to know what my frame is, because I'm not gonna cry on the wide shot and then have nothing for the close up. That would be terrible.
Yeah. So many sets I'm on, I will whisper to people that need to cry in a scene if they're not in the shot. Like if it's the back of their head.
That's so nice of you. Like, you're an angel.
I'll notice like nobody's told them. They don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh yeah. And then they'll do it 20 times. And then they'll be like, now we're coming in for your close up. And I'm like,
and you're dried out. You have no more.
Yeah. I've been crying for days. What? Yeah, it's terrible.
I always try. I always try to tell him.
That's
Save
very sweet.
Well, it's interesting. It goes back to a lot of things you said. Working on each different aspect, helps out in other ways.
Yeah. Well, certainly, like, I think, for writing and for acting, like, you're not going to understand like how things translate on screen until you've done a few projects and then you see how it came out. Like, I think like just seeing yourself in a scene is so valuable. Then you start to pick up on things that don't necessarily work.
And so launchover.com, I think we said, it's a website.
Yeah. That's us.
This has been very fun.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we
Good
should
to
do this
see
more
you.
often.
Well, I have to beat Michael. So,
Oh, you meant in appearances.
yes.
Oh, I thought you meant after the show. That's
Yeah, I have to beat him with sticks. After the show.
We'll let you go then.
Very busy night.
It's for a worthy cause.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is great.
Thanks.
It was great seeing you.
Thanks everyone for watching and for the fun comments here. And we'll talk to everyone soon. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Man.